All right, we're going to start section 1.4, and that deals with equations. We're going to rewrite equations and formulas by solving for variables. So the other day we were solving, now we're going to do a little more. So there are two methods we can do. Method one would be substitute and then solve. Method two would be solve and then substitute. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for y, and we're going to find out what is y when x is -4 and when x equals 2. So on the left side, you zoom in, I'm going to do two parts. I'm going to do this when x equals -4 and when x equals 2. I'm going to split this apart. So we're going to substitute in the x variable and then solve for y. So it's going to be -4 y minus -4 equals 4. So we plug in the x and we're going to solve for the y. So when we have a minus a negative, like we do here, this becomes plus positive. So it's -4y plus 4 equals 4. So we're going to minus 4, and that's going to cancel this out. So we end up with -4y equals 0. And then how do you solve for y? We end up having to divide by -4, and we end up with y equals 0. Okay, so we plugged in x and solved for y. On the right side, same exact thing. We're going to put 2 in for x, so it's 2y minus 2 equals 4. I always put parentheses when I substitute, just so I know I'm substituting in the right spot and the right number. So first, let's get rid of the 2 that's not attached. That -2, to cancel it out, we'd add 2. We'd end up with 2y equals 6. So we divide by 2. We end up with y equals 3. So yes, we can absolutely plug in the x and then solve for y. The second method, what we're going to do is solve for y, and then we're going to substitute in the x. So we're solving for y. So put step 1, take your equation. This is solve for y. So to get y alone, we have to get rid of this minus x. So we add x. All right? The x's cancel, and we end up with x, y equals 4 plus x. All right? Now we got to get y alone. So how do you get rid of this times x? Divide by x. So we divide everything by x. So divide the left side and divide the right side by x. So we end up with y equals 4 plus x divided by x. So we solve for y. Step 2 is substitute in for x. So now what we'll do is we'll take this equation, y equals 4 plus -4 divided by -4. Because we're substituting in wherever we see this x, we substitute in -4. Okay, and if we do the math here, 4 plus -4 is 0. 0 divided by -4 is 0. So we still get 0. This was when x equals -4. Now we want to do this when x equals 2. So we'd have y equals 4 plus 2 divided by 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So if you look back, both methods gave us 0 and 3. In some cases, it might be easier just to plug in x right away and solve for y. Other cases might be easier to solve for y and then just plug in whatever you want for x. The method that is probably more beneficial for you is going to be the second method. So as we slide down, we're going to talk about rewriting formulas. And these formulas are on page 28. There's a chart. So example 1, if I can get this to be straight. Okay, so example 1. There we go. It says solve for C. And we have F equals 9/5 C plus 32. And this is from science class. You probably have seen this. It's Fahrenheit to Celsius. So if we want to solve for C, get rid of everything that's not attached to C. So we're going to get rid of this plus 32. So we have F minus 32 equals 9/5 C. Right? And then to get rid of this 9/5, this 9 divided by 5, you can do it two ways. The fastest way is going to be multiply by the reciprocal. Another way you could do this is think of how do you get rid of that, divide by 5. We can times by 5 on both sides. So everything is times 5. So that will cancel, and we're going to get 5F minus, 5F minus 5 times 32 is 160 equals 9C. And then how do you get rid of the 9? Divide by 9. So we end up with C equals 5F minus 160 divided by 9. So we solve for C. And then step 2 is take that equation and then find out what is 92 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius. So what we will do is we'll take 5 times 92 minus 160, all divided by 9. So take your calculator, 5 times 92 minus 160. You get 300. So C equals 300 divided by 9. So this would be 33.3 degrees Celsius. So it's 92 degrees Fahrenheit, it's 33.3 degrees Celsius. So in this case, it's probably easier to solve for C and then plug it in than it would be just to plug in for F and then solve for C. And then we have 2 more problems. For 3 and 4, we're still solving for a variable. So the area formula for a circle is area equals pi times radius squared. Solve the formula for radius. So we take area equals pi times r squared. We're going to solve this for r. So the first thing we have to do is get rid of anything in front of or added to the r. So we have to get rid of this times pi. So we end up with area divided by pi equals the radius squared. So we're almost there, except for we have to get rid of the squared part. So how do you get rid of the squared part? to get rid of a square, you have to take the square root of both sides. So we end up with the radius equals the square root of the area divided by pi. So your answer is r equals the square root of a over pi. Okay. And then last one for the day, the formula for the area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. Solve for the height. So I'm going to rewrite this. Area equals 1/2 b times h. So we have to get h alone. What I like to do here, if we have a fraction in front like the 1/2, I think of how do I cancel out 1/2? So to get rid of the 1 divided by 2, we can times 2 on both sides to get 2a equals 1/2 times 2 is 1. So this just becomes b times h. Right? And then to get rid of the times b, we divide by b. So it'll be h equals 2a divided by b. So the height is 2 times area divided by the base. And that's all we got for today.